Many Ukrainian refugees in Great Britain cannot even get a dentist appointment in an emergency. And now they travel to Kiev or Dnipro for treatment. But does their example also set a precedent among the British? Anyone who has ever had tooth root pain can perhaps imagine what, for example, Natalia Negreba had to go through. It was unbearable, she said. She took ibuprofen and paracetamol every day. It didn't help enough, and the pain just wouldn't go away. And what Negreba didn't get was a dentist appointment. At least not one that cost them less than 800 British pounds. So she took a low-cost airline to Poland, a bus across the border to Ukraine, and then the train to the Dnipro in the east of the country, not far from the front lines. And today, the pain is gone. If I have another problem with my teeth, I'll have it treated again in Ukraine, she told the BBC. There are currently many cases like Natalia Negreba's in Great Britain. Ukrainian refugees travel to their homeland for dental treatment. For example, because the appointment is too expensive or because it just takes too long to get it. Another example, the family of a 7-year-old girl reports this of a 15-hour odyssey by bus through the Ukrainian provinces to Kiev. Lisa's pain was terrible, they say. She just couldn't wait a few more months and take antibiotics, said the mother, justifying the trip. How many people make the trip, whether there are any official figures at all, it's difficult to say. The Ukrainian Dental Association could not be reached for queries from German media. But one thing is certain, the British press is full of reports about that. The reason for the numerous trips is the disastrous state of the NHS health service, from which many Britons also suffer. Dentists are rare in the country, especially for the less well-off. According to a Labour Party survey recently reported on by The Guardian, 83% of practices now refuse to accept patients who want to use NHS care. The symbol of the shortage is a queue several hundred meters long that formed in Bristol a few weeks ago to mark the opening of a practice. There had been no dentist in the district in question for 7 months. The conditions not only shocked the British themselves, but also obviously immigrants. A study by the University of Birmingham into the experiences of immigrants from Hong Kong and Ukraine found that both groups were shocked by the generally poor healthcare in the country and specifically the problems finding a dentist. "We don't have a dentist, it's crazy." That's what another Ukrainian woman is quoted as saying. It's no problem finding one in their own country, and the visit wouldn't cost more than £10. In the search for pain relief, people are apparently willing even to take risks. For example, the city of Dnipro I was talking about, where Natalia Negreba had root canal treatment, is regularly the target of Russian attacks. At the beginning of last year, 45 people died after long-range missiles hit a residential building. And just a few days ago, Kiev reported several people injured as a result of an attack that also targeted a kindergarten. And dentist Katarina Lagun told the BBC that it was dangerous in Dnipro, with air alerts going off up to 15 times a day, and she herself lives near a factory that is frequently bombed. "I thought several times that this was the end," she said. Nevertheless, there are many people who come from outside Ukraine for dental treatment. In her practice, she treated several patients who traveled from the United Kingdom. She said, "I think in Great Britain people have little choice. Not even the British themselves could get quick treatment," she heard. And that's quite true. This is also apparently different in Ukraine, as the case of Richard Ho shows. When he developed severe pain due to an abscess last year, there was no hope for him of an early appointment with the NHS, as British media reported. A private treatment would have cost around £1,000, and who just has that much money lying around? So Ho, who worked in Kiev for a long time, decided to travel to the Ukrainian capital. He was treated immediately in his old practice. He said afterwards about his experiences, anyone can walk off the street into a practice and be examined immediately. And the country is a war zone. Access to NHS dental care in the UK is a complex issue with several challenges. Finding an NHS dentist accepting new NHS patients, particularly for adults, can be a daunting task. Reports suggest a significant number of practices are not taking on new adult NHS patients, leaving many struggling to register with a dentist. And this limited availability can have a domino effect. People who can't find an NHS dentist may delay or forgo needed dental treatment, potentially leading to more complex and expensive problems down the line. And additionally, for those who do manage to find an NHS dentist, wait times for appointments can be lengthy. The NHS dentist contract system has been criticized for potentially creating financial disincentives for preventive care. Under this system, dentists are compensated based on the number of treatments performed, known as the UDA system. While the system aims to ensure dentists are seeing patients, critics argue it doesn't adequately reward preventative measures like cleanings and checkups. And this can incentivize dentists towards more complex procedures to maximize their income, potentially leading to some patients receiving unnecessary treatment or facing higher costs for basic care. Additionally, some argue the system may not account for the varying time commitments of different procedures. Even with the NHS, some dental treatments may incur charges for patients depending on the complexity of the work and the band you fall under within the NHS system. And these charges can include things like fillings, crowns, or dentures. And the cost variations can create a barrier to essential dental work for some people, particularly those on low incomes. The COVID-19 pandemic significantly exacerbated these access issues. Dental practices faced closures and restrictions during lockdowns, leading to a backlog of patients needing treatment. And this further strained the already limited availability of NHS appointments and may have caused some people to neglect their oral health due to anxieties around visiting the dentist during a pandemic. The National Health Service, the NHS in the UK, has indeed faced significant funding challenges as well under the Tory rule since 2010. Following the global financial crisis of 2008, the Conservative-led government implemented austerity measures aimed at reducing public spending to tackle the budget deficit. And this led to constraints on NHS funding. And despite increasing demand and inflationary pressures, NHS funding has not kept pace with the growing needs of the population. And this is quite an example. I had lived in the UK now quite a long time ago. And already there, I was quite surprised of the NHS system. When I got sick, I was once to a practitioner. Fortunately, I'm not falling ill that often. But it was like two different worlds coming from Germany with our public healthcare system. And it was, very interesting. But being back here in Germany and hearing that regularly also about the dentists, I'm so surprised because since the military and a very wonderful female dentist, which was a captain, which totally massacred me, so to speak. I'm an angst patient, so to speak, for dentists, but I still go to the dentist because I know that I want to keep my teeth. Last year, I had a dentist that messed up. That happens too. And I need to go to another dentist now because of this. But if I manage to finish filming in time before they close for midday, I will go there to get an appointment today just walk over because it's not far. I could call, but it's easier to walk over because it's not far away from here. And I'm quite sure that I will have an appointment next week. I don't have time earlier because of a lot of meetings and filming this week, so I will need an appointment for next week, and I'm quite sure I will get it. And so I'm completely stunned about the deterioration of the NHS. When I was living in the UK and in London when at the time of the Labour government, the last Labour government, and the deterioration that obviously happened since then is quite shocking as well, because it wasn't what I was used to when I was living in Germany, and I was living in other countries as well. But hearing everything since then from the UK, also from friends of mine that live there, and their regular experiences, that is indeed quite shocking. But I will keep you informed about my dentist appointment. But nevertheless, if you want to see something else, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.